Hello, my good people. So this is part 2 of our opening price, and I'll show you a very good trick on how you are going to operate on the opening price. Yeah. So part 2, we are going to work on something called a Fibonacci. So let me say what a Fibonacci is. A Fibonacci. So we shall be using 50% of the Fibo, and the 50% is going to land this way. So let me just draw Fibonacci. It's like this. So we shall be using this 50%. Yeah. So let's go to the chart and look at it. So I want to start with just one example, some feedback testing. I want to start with this. See, this entry here. And then I want to find this entry using a Fibo. So now, how do we draw a Fibonacci? A Fibonacci is drawn from the highest to the lowest. So we have different ways of doing the Fibonacci. So let me show you how to clearly draw a Fibonacci. How it's created. So we have two ways. So I'll take a high and a low, and also I'll take something else. So let me do something here. I want to cut out the bar. So let me go to this. Yeah. Now I want to cut this market up to that area. I want to assume that this is my low, and we have a low and a high. Yeah, that's my low and a high. So this is my high, and this is my low. So where am I going to do my Fibonacci from? I can either draw from my high on the week or my low. Number two, I can draw from the body to the body. So I can come, put my Fibonacci between the high and the low around that area, or I can have between the body and the body. So you see like this one, we shall be using the body and the body. Look at my body around this corner here, that corner here. So it have extremely collided with my body. So if I move maybe to like another different time frame, it will automatically work out for me. See, went up, then down, yeah? That is it. Yeah, that is the first way of drawing the Fibonacci. I've said we can go from the high to the low, or I can use the body to the body, either of these two. Yeah, so that I can easily get this trade around this area. That is one. Number two, I have another way of drawing my Fibonacci. I want to give you a good example. Let me take a small example. Let's assume that the market was having a downtrend, went down, then created just a small retracement below 50, then went down. So I want to use this small edge and draw my 50. So let me come from I will use the high and the low. So this one, we call it a checkpoint. It's like a blueprint. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. It retraced around 23% or 38%. Then my entry shall be at 50. So we have two ways of drawing the Fibonacci. The first one is from a high, come pick my 50, then low down here. So from this high and low. So I'm gonna take my 50 here. So which is the second way? The second way, I'll assume that I left a small check there, then I'm gonna count for 50% and land down. So my Fibonacci will be from here up to here. So now I would like us to go to the market and we see what's going to happen in the market. So I want to take you through those two. And I want to draw some few checks. I'll draw as many examples. I'll be using weekly, day one, and H4. Yeah, I'll be using weekly, day one, and H4. Yeah, so I want to mark out this one. Let me mark out a weekly. Let's start with the weekly. The weekly, the first one was around this corner here. So I want to pick this cell. Then I went to daily. My daily opening price was still the same corner here. I have to move to a H4. So my H4 was there up. So everything ticked and done. So now let's go to the Fibonacci. So sometime I wanted to see, you see, the market was having a high and a low. You see, it created a small check around this area. See? That was my high. Then we break this row here. You see, then we retraced just a little bit, then we went down. So this one now becomes my checkpoint. So I have to touch, either I touch from there up. Remember, we want to sell around this area. Now I'll pick from there up to around this corner, either body to body or week to week. So if you can check the body to body, the week to week, it did not work. Why? It was still above. So we want exactly at the body. So what do? We shall take it from week body to body. I can draw a line graph. So the highest body we had was here, and we shall take there. So you can see my 50% did a good job. So this one, we call it a checkpoint. Look at 50%. So now that was my entry, a good one. It was the best to them. So remember this area, we have picked so many stuff, so many entries around that area. So let me take you to another one. I want to take you to a day one. Also, the market, there are so many over. So this was my opening price on that area. Then if I move to H4, let me move to H4. The H4, my opening price was also this one. So I had a day one and a H4. So I want you to see the market. The market was having a high also. That was my high. Look at my low. This was my low. We break, we retested once, then we create a small check. So I'll just do the same thing. I'll draw either from week to week. And it came exactly, week to week did a good job. So now I'll pick my short position around that area. So we call it a checkpoint. It's a very hidden blueprint. Yeah. So this is what was going to give us a short sell and then we move down. That one is a good one. So you see now the position, these cells were given by, then our stop loss will never pass at 60. We cannot pass 60%. Actually, I always have your stop loss at 60%, you enter at that area. It collided 50% with the levels collided the same area. So you are going to find out that most of this trade, I might have a high, then I was able to break this row. Who break the row? The guys who break the row, these guys break this row, did a small rotation, then went up. So I'll draw the same now. This one become a checkpoint. So I can decide to go with body to body, or week to week. So if I go to week, it's there down. Body to body is here. So let me first of all move to a daily time frame first. I love this. It's the easiest way. So that was my low. That was my high. Look at my opening price for this was my opening price. So I want to take a trade around that area. So let me go to 4 hours. I want to go to 4 hours, look for a checkpoint. You see, that's my area. So if I move from, this was my checkpoint. Look at my high. This was my low. This was my high. You see, the market created a retracement, a small retracement, then went down. So that one became a checkpoint. We retraced only less than that. So I can pick from body to body. Look at my 50%. It correlated with the day one. So remember, this was my day one area. This area was where my day one was landing at, on this area. So let's go to Fibonacci. From there up to here down, body to body. Then I wanna put my 50%. Look at my 50 clearly. You see? So body to body. Why are we using body to body? Because you see, this there up, there was no, you can check around here, there was no wick. This is the high. I want you to see. This was the high. This was the lowest point. We break. After we break, we retraced once. This was the retracement. This was a midnight shift. It was a midnight. So we retraced up to this area, then we saw down. So now that one become my checkpoint. So now I'm going to have a high and a body, have my sales around that area. Remember, I have to use that position. Remember, it's the opening price. I can have maybe my stop loss there. Look at how I pick that sell. Yeah. So there are so many sales. Sometimes the checkpoint, sometimes not the checkpoint. Let's look for another one also. Yeah. Let's look. There are so many. As long as we have a weekly and a H4, we look for 50. We set our pending orders, put stop loss at 30, and that is it. So let's check at this guy here. There was an opening price. Open. So I have to move to a H4. So this is the basic part of it. We have the advanced. The advanced, the advanced system, you see? The opening price of 4 hours was there. So you see these guys, who was my high? My high was there. I had a small low here. You can see actually I even created a small checkpoint around this area. That checkpoint. Also, I can also move to day one and check. Let's move to day one. And we see, check. So I can first of all measure from the body to the body around that area. The body never touched, or I can move to from the week or the week. One will give you a 50. Yeah, that was a very, very good example of 50% Fibonacci. It was exactly at 50, not 60. There's nothing like 60%. Then 50% daily opens and also a H4 opens. Look at it. So look at my sell position. I want you to imagine like 90% of these entities are going to play at 50. 90% of the setup. Sometimes I'll even use a weekly. You'll find out the market want to play from here up to there up. So if I can measure my 50 from there up there, you'll find the market reacting exactly at 50%. But then this one, maybe it's a weekly scenario. It's a weekly setup. Look at this weekly. The body, the opening price was there. So who was the row of the week? The row of the week, the high and the row. This was the high of the week. This was the row of the week. So I can decide to have the most high week and the lowest position here. So my entry will be there, around that area. It's a good one. So now if I go to day one, there was a H4. Look at day one, I had a daily. Look at my daily opening price. This was my daily opening price. I can move to H4 and find my H4 opening price. Let's go to H4. Where's my H4? My H4 was there. Come, picked, and went down. Look how these guys took a sniper there, went down. That's how it is easily done. So we have two ways of drawing the market. The first one, if I can use a structure, is if you are moving up, downwards this way, then the market, they can come and pick at 50 and move down. So I can come, I have a high and a low, and I pick at 50. Number two, I can have the market moving on a downtrend, create just a small blueprint, then move down. So I can use this one as my checkpoint. From here to here, we call it a checkpoint. It's a blueprint. I can take my sales at 50, that area. So this market will come from nowhere, pick a buy, set there, and down. There are so many entries that are concerning that. So many of them. Actually, even at the current market, the high, that was the high, maybe we had a small checkpoint around this area. Look at 50. All I want to move up, body to body. Body to body was around that area. But here the problem is that I don't have I only have a 4-hour opening price. Then if I move to H1, this is the current market, I'm supposed to have something here. So this one didn't have anything to work with around this area. Could have picked this cell. And it works for all pairs, each and every pair. GBPUSD, EURUSD, each and every pair. So let's go to another pair, for example, like a GBP NZD or a Euro New Zealand. You can go to any pair, a GBP or a Euro New Zealand. This market was having a certain bias. I'll talk about this bias on my next lesson. A high, a low, a high. You see, created a small check, went up. Look at my checkpoint. So this is my low. Look at my low, lower low. This is my lower low, lower low. No, it's a lower high. You see, or a higher low, whatever. It's a low. Let's say this is our low. Then this was my high. My high. This was my higher low. It's an uptrend. Then our next lesson I will be talking about these guys here. But let's see. But these guys created a checkpoint. Look at these guys. They went up for some few pips, like around, they went up for less than. Then you can see very well, these guys picked me at, I had a low, nobody, you see, there was no wick here. Look at my wick. No wicks there. So I'll take it from week to week, this week, and this week. So my position, 50, but remember I have a reference point around that area. Then after that, I'm going to have I have an opening price. Look, this is the opening price of that market. So I want to jump to this one and look at H4 and see what was there on H4. The H4 had a very, very clear opening price. And you can see now these guys picked my buys at the opening price. That was my opening price. That area. I'll show you how to put a stop loss on the opening price. I can move to a day one. I can move to a H1. That's also, look at my H1 also. It had also a very good opening price. You see? So this is how it is easily done. And you pick a buy here and then move up. So I also want to move to another pair, like a Euro New Zealand. all these markets move within two things, a checkpoint and an opening price. So each and every time, let's take an example. If we move from here, then went up, we are supposed to think of 50%. So I could have easily bought this buy. Look at my buy at 50. This was my 50%, then went up. So the markets love 50. Even you love something at the center. That is it. Everybody love what is at the center. It's a 50% Fibonacci. All these traits that you can see here, they are all learning. I'll even produce you this with 50%. This guy. I might have my highest position as that area. I might have this area. So you might find out that if I can draw from there up, maybe from around this area, you can find these guys reacting exactly at 50%. And you can see what they did. Now this area, that was my 50%. Because this was the highest position. These they broke this row, they retraced, touched this eye. So we are supposed to react around 50%. And you can see 50% at an opening price. And after that, after having an opening price, also, I'm sure on H4, there might be something maybe here on H4 or on H1, yeah? On H1. Very easy. Do not complicate things here. It's a very, very easy way of doing your things here. Around that area. You can see my entry went exactly at 50. Look at entry point. So from day 1 to look at my H1. My H1, this was my opening price. Actually, this was a good one. It had a very good entry. My stop loss supposed to be there. I have seen something good on it. Actually, this one could have even went above this line. So the entry was there, or this line. The stop loss cannot pass that day up. The premium student can easily spot such kind of, yeah. You see, it even crossed above, yeah. That type of a setup you close above. Then you can easily see how we did a good job on daily. Just doing my Fibonacci on that area. So I'll pick, you can see that that was my highest, you see. That was my highest end, my lowest end. I had another high, then I break and I retraced. So I can easily draw my 50% using now. This become my checkpoint now. We call it a checkpoint. 50% have corrected exactly. So I want you to imagine that you have some fundamentals coming, like the NZD, interest rates, then this one you will go full margin. You go full margin on this, around 169. A very accurate system. So we have the checkpoint, that. So that is it. So have some good time and like and subscribe. And this is part 2. I will share a part 3, which is the final part, and it will be combining something called levels. Levels. So I'll be giving out slowly by slowly, giving out levels. So whereby I can give you a hint. A level is the opening price also. I'll take a market. This is my level point. Like this is my level point there. So we can have some chances of selling here. We call it a level. A level is a position at which the market decided to change the direction here. So I might end up having another selling and then moving down. I want to show you a very good level that we picked on even on GBP JPY. It was among the best trade we ever picked. Pepperstone. See, this is my level. The market love reacting that. So that will be my second part 3. Will be learning on the level. The levels, yeah. Part 3 will be learning on the level is high. Part 3, I'll be learning on the level and how to treat them. They are very major entries. So that's a hit for part 3. So enjoy, and we shall keep on talking slowly by slowly. Like and subscribe.